What's going on? G513, nice to have you. New here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you like it and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, guys. We do have wages. I'm on a telephone pole. 60. Good one, Sparky. Awesome. I'm assuming you're an electrician, judging by your name and your profession there. Hey, Tab. What's going on, guys? Postman. Leslie. Good to have you again, G513. Frank P, Tim, Jan, Sparky again, Richard. Yep, I figured. If you're on a poll and you by your name. That's awesome. And that's different than being on a poll, what other people mean by that. Anyway, I'm going to jump into this, guys. This is going to be a daily update. I want to go through this fairly quickly. But before I do, I'm going to let you guys in on some little bit of information about myself here. I'm pretty sick. I haven't really been letting it on or anything like that. But at this point, it's pretty much a done deal that I have like congestive heart failure. And I know that sounds really, really bad. But I'm doing it with a smile on my face, guys. So don't think anything less than that. I'm just letting you guys know that in case I kind of have to go AWOL for a few days if I end up in the hospital and stuff. I got some pretty severe edema. I've gained like 35 pounds of water in like 2 weeks. I'm taking Lasix and stuff, but it doesn't seem to be working very well. So, you know, I'm not going to go too much more into that. But the only reason why I tell you guys that is so you know if I'm not here for a couple days, that's why. I don't see that happening. Even in the hospital, I would probably still be able to, use my computer and do a show. Frankly, this is therapy for me sometimes. Just so everybody knows, I like doing this. I like talking to you guys, and that's why I do it. Because I do think it's important. I think it helps, and I think that, I'm here for you guys, and you guys have been there for me every step of the way, too. So I do appreciate that. So I'm going to jump into this because this is just a daily update. I will be back on later on tonight, guys. Okay? So anybody that wants to talk and hang out and be a little bit more relaxed, we'll do that then. I'll ask if anybody's got any questions at the end of this, but we will try to keep this, half hour or less. So I do appreciate all the mods that are here and all the subs. Thanks you guys for just being here. All right. So we will jump right into it. Yeah, if I can learn how to operate a computer. Guys, the Schumann tool isn't working right now. The one I take you guys to, it's not. The window's not opening for some reason. I guess we could try to do it again real quick, just so you guys see what's going on with it. It just doesn't want to load the page. Sometimes it's because of cookies or something like that. I haven't really dug that much into it. But judging by the last few, days of this, yeah, it's not going to let me in there. It would already be loaded by now. Anyway, judging by the past few days, I don't see anything crazy going on with the Schumann. We can go to other sites and look at it if need be, but I'm just going to have to skip it for this video. So, anyway, this is Space Weather Prediction Center. That's where I got you guys over here. This is the solar X-ray flux. Remember yesterday I was showing you guys this, and I showed it to you on Enlil, and we'll look at that again too. But you can see how we had that couple little bumps almost in the storm level. All right. Now, it did taper back off, but here at the end, before this next bar shows up, the next data point, if you guys look here, you can see this thing is had another little appendage pop up there, a little spike. So we're going to have to watch and see what's going on with that, and, we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. But as far as geomagnetic activity, guys, it's not off the chart crazy. It's not even in storm level, but it is elevated, and it's been a little up and down. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Here's the not the Enlil, but the ACE data. Now, something we can notice here, the BZ is actually, pretty much on zero again. So that means that the door is pretty much closed for any kind of solar activity. As far as, spewing charged particles and stuff our direction. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. It just means that that's less likely when we're seeing that, the BZ show up like that. If it's negative, that's when we got to pay attention. That's usually when the door's open. So, and I'm talking about door open on the sun, where just our connection's there. It opens up. It's easier for it to flow our direction, and it comes. So, the phi angle, it's holding pretty steady. And also, guys, again, let me show you guys this. I mean, I'm going to show you guys this every time if it keeps doing it. This stupid thing is still at 60 kilometers per second range from 320 to 380. It shouldn't be doing that. This is deceptive, okay? It looks like it's a big roller coaster, right? Well, it's really not. It's more like what this blue looks, the phi angle looks like. So this is really, really, really deceptive. So, I don't really know what else to say about that other than we know what the speed is, and it's pretty much normal. It's right in the middle, right around 300. It's even came down to 300. Now, just like on that solar X-ray flux, if you guys can see that right there on the end on the density, it was spiking back up. Why is it doing that? Well, here's the Enlil model. And again, the conditions at Earth are on the green line. All right. I'm going to pause it right about there. Because that's kind of where we're at in time. All right. You can see right here, 1900. That's about where this is showing us right here. We're really about, well, yeah, it's getting close to that. So here in the next few hours, we may already be seeing the uptick start, like I just showed you guys with the density. This is the velocity. The velocity is going to get faster too. And it's going to go up towards 700. Now, if it gets up towards 700 and hangs out there, that's some pretty good solar wind. So it'll bump our geomagnetic activity up again. And most likely, if it stays right around 700 and the density doesn't completely go to zero, I look for us to go into storm level. I really do. Because we're already kind of juiced a little bit. We did come down some. Okay? But it doesn't take much to get us back up there, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure if we're having any flares or anything like that. I don't think we are. I haven't seen any myself. But, the magnometer's here. Guys, this thing is used to let everybody know the strength and the direction of our magnetic field. That's what these tools are used for. Guys, you have one of these in your phone. Did you know that? This is how most phones, especially Androids, they use a magnometer to tell the direction of your phone. So if the magnetics are all jacked up, like during a pole shift or anything else, yeah, that's another thing that would happen. So when you take the gyroscope on your phone, most people think it's a gyroscope. Well, it's really a magnometer. If you take your phone and move it, it just knows the magnetics and it knows what direction it's in. I would encourage people to research that out a little bit. It's a pretty interesting fact, but that's one thing we can all relate to, right? So when this magnometer, the tool's on the satellite, right? It's actually measuring the Earth's magnetic field. So it knows the strength and the direction of the magnetics. That's what this thing is designed to do. The electron flux is exactly what it says it is. It's a flow of electrons, and this graph is showing you the fluctuation from either down or up. Okay? So they're both a flux. And guys, anybody knows anything about electricity, like Sparky, he knows that electricity is simply the flow of these electrons from one atom to the other. And that's why certain metals work, because copper lines, aluminum lines, gold's very conductive. They let their electrons go a lot freer than other materials, so it allows it to flow easier. Other metals are actually used to cause the resistance, believe it or not, like a filament in your light bulb, tungsten. An old incandescent light bulb with a tungsten filament that actually causes some resistance, and that's what causes the light and the heat inside that, because these electrons are trying to flow through it and they have a harder time doing it. That's where that's where the light comes from, guys. So, I just want to explain that because we can all relate to that. You know what I mean? Okay, Aurora, unless we do get some pretty good solar wind coming, this thing ain't going to move much. You're going to see this. It's just going to kind of pivot around the middle point here, and you know it does look to be kind of intense. We'll just have to wait and see if it actually, gets down this far, and it could. It looks like they're saying it's going to at least get down to the border. Pretty good chance of it. So I look for us to see some auroras. It'd be kind of interesting to see some more pink auroras. I think we will. Because this is the season of the McPherson effect, which is just cracks in our magnetic field. So with that being said, more solar weather gets down closer to the surface. This is the magnetosphere model. Over here on the left is where the sun's at. And you're seeing, this isn't crazy, okay? This is something actually fairly normal right now. But I have to say, it's still kind of asymmetrical. You're having stuff happen on one side, not the other. If it was symmetrical, then we, wouldn't really be directional. It'd be coming right from the sun. The density here is kind of interesting. We've seen it look like this before, but look how the density's pushing back here. Okay? It's not out of the ordinary to see this, but this is something that, again, kind of points to what's actually happening. Our bow shock is not gone. Nobody freak out, okay? When you see a signature like this, where it's all blue out here in the front, all this simply is showing you is density. The density of the particles. This thing doesn't know any different. Okay? So when you see this, our bow shock is still there, but what's happening is the particles in front of the bow shock and behind it are roughly about the same density. So it blends in together. That's what we're seeing there. Okay? The pressure, yes, this looks intense. It's not light, but it's not extremely heavy. If you guys notice, this went back to more of a symmetrical look. Look, it's just like circled around our magnetic field now. Something I did notice, and I hope this lets me zoom in. Right here, there's a little bit of an appendage, and it does seem to be like doing something little there. But I wouldn't call it anything to be, concerned about. It's just something interesting about it. So, if something does happen, obviously I'll bring it back to you guys. Here's another magnetosphere model. This is the Australian version. Sun's over here to the left. And what you're seeing, again, is our bow shock right there being represented by that yellow line. It's fluctuating in and out. And when that happens, what that means is we are getting, hit, solar weather. And we'll get hit, and then it's called compression, and then we get rapid expansion. We're pushing back, and when we finally win that battle against the wind, the solar wind, it pushes out further than its original position. But it does return back to its original position. It's just an effect we see when we get hit. In, out, back to normal. That's what happens. Over and over and over again. This is the ISWA model. This is the radiation belts. Okay? Again, not a whole lot going on there. Yes, we're going to see some stuff flying in and out of there, but it isn't something that we've not seen before. It isn't something that we really should even be concerned about right now. Okay? Coronal holes. The northern coronal holes there. We see a darker area here, but they're not calling it a coronal hole. We're seeing some stuff starting to open up here in the middle. Okay? Even back here a little bit. Remember, we have... I forget what that effect they call it on the side. I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, guys. I don't feel good, so please forgive me on that. It's the effect where stuff that's on the side of a sphere looks smaller over here than what it is in the front. I can't even believe I'm drawing a blank on the name of that. My gosh, it's ridiculous. Anyway, the sun. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, because we've had a CME, and I'm going to show it to you guys. It's right here above this active region that we watched become a sunspot, go back down, become a sunspot again. I would have to say that it's probably close to a sunspot now, but it's not facing us, so we're not going to know. Let me push play here. dive in there a little bit closer. So if you look here, you can kind of see where that energy's coming out, right? And you see it kind of blow off there. I showed a little bit of this last night during my later live stream I did. And we've seen some pretty cool looking stuff on the 304, right? So let's go over there and look at that one, the 304, because, you know, remember we seen it, the energy kind of pop up and it was like hanging out there and was like going, it was coming back to the sun in different positions. That's where that CME happened. Okay, remember I said it looked like I couldn't tell if some of that left the sun? Well, it actually did, and it probably happened out here in the atmosphere a little bit of the sun, not so much on the surface. Okay, they call it a stealth solar storm because they're hard to see, or a stealth CME. You don't see them on the SDO very well. Now, obviously on seeds, we're going to see it. It's going to look, you know, pretty impressive actually. And I'll show it to you here in a minute. But I'm going to show you guys this first. You know, when this stuff lifts off, when that's, you know, the plasma and stuff lifts off, if it goes back to the sun, it's no big deal, right? Because it's not even considered a CME unless it leaves the sun. But you're seeing all that activity. Now, we'd have to go back a little bit further to see what I showed you guys yesterday. But this is the spot where we had the CME. And it was not seen by a whole lot of people at first. And it does look like it's going to miss Earth. Okay, let me say that first off because I should have said that at the beginning. Because that's, you know, that's our concern, right? But notice how we got action going on everywhere else too. Okay, down here, up here. You know, those are all filaments that could, and gases that could release off the sun at any time it wants. And if it does, it's a CME. Here's the purple view. We will take a look at that. It's, again, guys, these are just different gases, but you're seeing the same thing. Okay? So, we'll move on from that. Geoelectric field model. This is a space weather's effect on our electrical grid here. Okay? Again, we're going to see a little bit of activity, but not a whole bunch. I look for this to, you know, slowly increase as the day goes on. In the next 12 hours, guys, I really think we're going to see some sort of a geomagnetic storm. It's probably going to be a really small one. Might not last very long. I don't think it's going to get very intense, but I think we might end up as a G1. It's just my opinion, and I could be wrong, you know. What does a G1 mean? Just extra aurora, uptick in earthquakes, that kind of thing. I showed you guys what we can expect during those storm levels multiple times. Okay, this right here bothers me. And I said this yesterday. But now, because now we have another CME, this is the CME tracker, and it's still not updating. The CME we just seen blew off over here. This one is still showing us the one that happened back on the 30th of September. So, you know, what's up with that? You know, it's just one of those questions we're not going to get an answer to. I can tell you that right now. So here's the CME. Okay. I actually kind of showed you guys this a little bit of it yesterday on Stereo A. Okay. Now that was just a crazy light anomaly. Okay. There's not really much going on there. I guess there could be. But I don't know. I can't see. I can't really tell. We may have something hanging out right there. Not 100% on that, but it does kind of look funny right there. But I don't have the soft. Scott will probably run it through his software, and we'll know pretty quick, like when he gets home from work and stuff. But you can see how we're, you know, that's a decent CME, guys. I think we kind of dodged a bullet on this one because remember, that's over top of that sunspot that was all the way across and it was active the whole time. But it never blew anything our way as far as a CME like this. I mean, look at this one. This one's pretty impressive, I have to say. And I know where everybody's going with this. I mean, obviously. Well, we're going to have to let Scott run that through his programming and his software and see what comes out of it. You know, I could put some just standard filters on it, but it's not going to help it much. So push start again, and yeah, guys. I mean, it's showing us some stuff here, but it's not. Okay, but that does look to be a pretty powerful one. I would say that. Just the fact that we got this big dark area here in the middle, which isn't really dark, it's just how this is represented. Plus we got a little secondary little swoosh going on down here that's probably not even related to this one. They could be kind of, you know, brothers or cousins or whatever, but they're not the same ejection. Doesn't look to be anyway. But it does look, see how this kind of stretches out on its own? So, you know, I don't think either one of these would be a problem for us right now. I think that's actually going off to the right. Now remember, on this one we can't really tell exactly because it could be going off the back. It could be actually coming this way at an angle, but it all would still look like it's going to the right. So how do we know? Well, what we need to do is, since the CME tracker isn't updating, we need to go to stereo A. Now I showed you guys this yesterday during my live stream. Remember I pointed this out directly? I said, looks like something's going on right there. Remember? Well, that's what was going on. If I'd have waited another, I don't know, hour or so, we probably would have been able to see it. So you can see how we've got, you know, things going on here. It's that same CME. It's just looking from the side. So you can kind of see where things are starting to, you know, wrap around things and do this and do that there. I'll be really interested to see what this is going to show up, you know, when Scott runs it through his software. I really will. But again, this here, everything's going to look like it's going to the right. We can't tell if it's going this way or that way, but we have the other satellite to go off of. Now the Earth's over here on this satellite. The satellite's over here looking at the side of the sun. So if you just went off this one, we'd say, yes, it's coming right at the Earth. But we got this one to take in consideration too. Oh, I went to the wrong one. Goodness, that was stupid. Anyway, we got this one to look at that can help us decide. So this one looks like it's going to the right. The one on the other one looks like it's going to the right. So what that's telling us is this is probably going this way. Now, if the other is stereo A and this one was kind of being a little bit different, then we could decide a different direction. But because of what both of these are showing, I'm going to go ahead and just conclude it's going to the right. I don't think it's coming right at us at all. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to miss us altogether. So that's just my opinion. It's by my observation. You know, everybody's welcome to their opinion. They can check it out. You know, I'd be more than happy to listen to it. You know, earthquakes. Okay, I'm going to back this off a little bit. Now, you know, guys, we were on live last night, and, you know, they posted this one. At first, it was a 5.8. Then they downgraded it to a 5.6, and now they put it back to a 5.9. That's odd for USGS to do that. They hardly ever will raise a number. So, you know, whatever's going on there, who knows, but this is what the official one is. You know, we've had a few other ones. That was a 6.0 down in Fiji. 5.3. We got this one over here in the Mid-Atlantic. It's 5.6 down here in Chile. You know, 4s. We got this one down here in the Antarctic. 5.3. So, yeah. I mean, there's nothing like huge going on with this. Now, watch this. We'll go all magnitudes, okay? And I'm showing you guys this for a reason. Because we're getting a bunch of swarming, okay? California and Nevada right in this area has been extremely active as far as lower magnitude quakes and tremors. Okay, there's a tremor map we can look at too. And it's just tremors. In other words, it's not really a quake. It's just a bunch of trembling. But this here was kind of a little, you know, you always look if it's out here in the Cascadia subduction zone. This is actually out in the ocean past that. You know, what does that mean? I really don't know. Probably nothing. But if it happens again, then obviously we would look at it. But check out these other swarms. Here, here, and here. I find it extremely interesting that these are all on the same line. Okay? You know, we can chalk these up as fracking, but I don't think we can chalk these up as fracking. But let me tell you something else that's going on here. We're going to talk about here in a second. The Dutch did a show last night. Now check this out, guys. We got these earthquakes happening right here where we don't typically get them. This is around the New Madrid Fault. Plus over here, we had a bunch of hotspots show up. Okay, on the satellite. This thing. So, let me show you. If it's still there. I may have to go back a little further, but see if I can't catch it. It's not there because I didn't go back far enough. And so what we'll do, am I on the right one there? I guess I could be on the wrong filter. But I would encourage everybody to go watch Dutch's last stream. I'm not going to take a whole bunch of time and show you guys. Obviously, he's the foremost earthquake guy in our community. You know, everybody can. I trust Dutch with just about everything he says. I trust him more than what I trust the USGS. Okay, that's just a fact. Bear with me here for a second. I think I will try to take this back a little bit. Let's see here what we got here. This is 10/6, 9/26. Okay, 17. So, what I'm going to do. That was on the 3rd, so I'm going to go back to the 5th here, okay? Right around, that was stupid. I think it's right around that time frame. I could be wrong, but we'll check it out. Let's see what it gives us when it saves this GIF. While it's doing its thing, if it's even going to do it, we'll look at the power outage map. Okay, again, California here, guys. Wildfires. That's why you're seeing all that. Okay. Yeah, not really a whole much more to talk about on that end of it. We're not seeing power outages itself around the country right now. We do have a hurricane down here getting ready to, you know, come our direction. And we don't want to forget that. Okay? So we can take a look at that while this thing is loading. Let's go to this one. And let's change the view. Right here. Okay? They're forecasting Delta here to be a Category 4 when it goes across the Yucatan Peninsula here. They're forecasting it to spit out and become like a 3, go back to a 4 here, and by the time it hits Louisiana, which is what the models are saying it's going to do, it will be a Category 2 at landfall. Now, whether all that pans out, who knows, because there's a lot of warm water in here. Alright? There's a lot of chances for a whole lot of things to happen, and if it gets real strong and then it doesn't get enough wind shear up here before it comes on land, it could come in a monster. It really could. So let's see if I got this one right. I'm just looking. Yeah, I didn't go to the right timestamp. But guys, let's do this. Let me just do this real quick. Just hang in there with me just for a second, please. Here's his video. I'm not going to play it. I just want to show it to you, okay?
Where the hotspots were.
Okay, you heard him already say it. Hotspots. Okay, I'm not gonna like take you guys to it. I would encourage you guys to go watch his video. But that right there is Google Earth, and what he's showing you is hotspots. And where they're at is very interesting because they're right around the North American craton, which is our big plate here, right? With that being said, there was like thousands of these little black dots that started showing up. And there were no forest fires. You don't get forest fires in a swamp in Louisiana, in the bayou, okay? But there were hot spots showing up on the satellite. So right on the edge of the craton, where he's been talking about this for a long time, and this just happened. And it, right around there, we were seeing hot spots right where these earthquakes are. So, even over here, why are we getting the craton, getting the earthquakes over here? I really think it's related, and I think Dutch is on to something there. I really do. The craton kind of goes up this direction and goes up the east coast, right? And it's the big plate, right? It's a plate boundary, and a lot of people are theorizing a plate slippage, that kind of thing. So that would create a big, huge problem for everybody. Obviously, that's the New Madrid. I've heard for years because I live in Indiana, so I know about the New Madrid fault, and they're saying, if that thing ever does slip or do its thing, it's going to be catastrophic for this area. Okay, but I found it very interesting when he was showing us the hot spots, and then I pop on here today, and now we got these earthquakes right here where we don't typically see them, and they're right where the hot spots were. So, guys, take that for what it's worth, man. I don't really have much else to say on that end of it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Again, I'm not going to take up a whole bunch more time here. So, yeah, Dutch is going live. Oh, really? Okay. CM, he's probably going to talk about what I just did. But he's going to go into it a lot better than what I did. I guarantee you that. But, yeah. So, hopefully everybody kind of got what I was saying today. If there's any mods hanging out, thank you for being here. Subscribers, Knowledge, you're there, I see. Who else was in there earlier? I think third in line. Christine, good to see you. Exile, what's up, bud? Just want to say hi to everybody here. Brandy, how you doing? Thank you for that. I appreciate that, guys. Guys, don't worry about me, okay? I'm going to be fine. I want everybody to know that if I actually have to, break away from this YouTube thing for a minute, that's why. If you guys don't get if you don't get some sort of a warning from anybody. Obviously, I have contact with Scott and Mark Pyers. If I do get really sick or whatever, I will at least let them know so they can let you guys know. And with that, the Mark Pyers thing too, guys, please go over to his D Live and check him out. He needs just a few more subs to get to 200. Most of us have already been to his YouTube channel, which, as a matter of fact, I will take you guys there real quick while I got you here, okay? Because everybody, number one, needs to go over here and subscribe to Mark, okay? This is one of the most positive people I know on the planet. He is doing things the right way. He's got, he's trying to get away from having to do the real estate thing and support his family that way. He wants to come on and do YouTube like he's doing all the time. And he does it anyway, every day for 640 some days now. It's ridiculous all the time he puts into this. And that's how much that's how much it means to him. It's how much he believes in that it needs done. He got his own original music. He does face swaps, celebrity impersonations. It is a good time every time we come over here. I will be back on later on tonight with a live show. Chances are at the end of that live, I'll let everybody know. I'll drop his link, and everybody can follow me over there. But we want to get his subscription rate up as far as we can get it. He's got over 2,000 subs now. When we started this about 3 weeks ago, he was like not even at 300. So, yeah. Dutch Sense is going live there. So, cool Knowledge. I appreciate everybody here, guys. So, Please go check out Mark Pyers. Go check out Scott. Dr. Albers is sick, guys. She's sick too. There's a link in my description if you guys want to help. She's got to have these treatments that are extremely expensive. So that's what's going on with that. And if you want to help there, the link and stuff is in the description. Scott would much appreciate it. He's already said thanks to everybody already that's helped already some. It's gotten them, got the ball rolling. So whoever has donated so far, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. When you're helping a friend of mine, you're helping me. And I really do appreciate that. So, anyway, guys, God bless. Yahuwah say.